The rain hammered the stained glass windows of St. Mark's Episcopal Church like 1,000 accusatory fists, drowning out the organ's mournful swell as Alex Harper stared into the open casket. Jordan's face, pale and unnaturally serene under the makeup, looked like a stranger's. A waxen mask that mocked the vibrant man who'd once pulled him into midnight dances in their cramped Brooklyn apartment. "You promised we'd grow old fighting over the remote?" Alex whispered, his voice cracking like thunder outside. But the words dissolved into the hush of black-clad mourners who whispered about tragic accidents, and what a shame for such a young love. He didn't cry then, not with Jordan's Bible-thumping family glaring daggers from the front pew. His mother clutching a rosary like a weapon, his brother smirking as if this were just another family drama to exploit. Alex's hand trembled as he slipped the simple gold band from Jordan's finger, the one engraved with their vows from that rainy courthouse wedding in 2018. Tucking it into his pocket, he turned away, the weight of unspoken grief settling like lead in his chest. But it was the laptop in Jordan's coat pocket, retrieved from the funeral home that morning, that burned hottest against his thigh. A silent siren call to truths buried deeper than any grave. By dusk, back in their loft overlooking the East River, Alex collapsed onto the unmade bed, still scented with Jordan's cedar cologne. The city lights flickered like distant stars through the floor-to-ceiling windows, indifferent to the void Jordan had left. He pulled out the laptop, its screen smudged with fingerprints that might be the last traces of his husband's touch. No password. Jordan had always trusted him implicitly, a faith Alex now questioned in the sterile glow of the login prompt. His fingers hovered, heart pounding with a mix of dread and defiance. What if this was the final gift, or the cruelest cut? With a breath that tasted like ashes, he typed their anniversary date, July 14, 2018. The desktop bloomed to life, folders neat as Jordan's architect blueprints, but one file caught his eye. For when I'm gone. A video timestamped the night before the car crash. Alex hit play, and Jordan's face filled the screen, tired but tender, his green eyes crinkling with that lopsided smile that had first hooked Alex at a Greenwich Village Pride rally a decade ago. "Hey, love," Jordan began, voice gravelly from the late hours he'd been pulling at the firm. "If you're seeing this, well, shit happened. I know you're furious, probably cursing my name for leaving you with the mess. But listen, the account is not what you think. Check the offshore one under Legacy Trust. Passwords our first trip. Yellowstone 16. And Alex, I love you more than blueprints or skylines. Fight for us. Okay? Always." The video cut to black, leaving Alex gasping, the room spinning as betrayal's first whisper slithered in. What account? What mess? He'd always assumed their joint savings, meager from Jordan's freelance gigs and Alex's barista shifts at that hipster spot in Williamsburg, were all they had. No kids, no fancy house, just dreams of a cabin upstate someday. But offshore? That word reeked of secrets, the kind that shattered glass houses like theirs. Fingers flying, Alex navigated to the browser history, heart slamming against his ribs like a caged bird. Buried in cache tabs, emails from a Cayman Islands firm, transfers totaling over $800,000. Money Jordan had funneled away bit by bit, siphoned from his inheritance after his father's death last year. The old man, a Wall Street shark who'd disowned Jordan for coming out, had left him millions in trusts, but Jordan had sworn it was tied up in legal knots, untouchable. Lies, all of it pretty as a promise. The rain had stopped by the time Alex cracked the Legacy Trust portal, the interface sleek and anonymous, like something out of a fintech thriller. Balance $1.2 million, growing. Beneficiaries: Alex Harper, primary. But there, in the transaction notes, a name that gutted him, Ethan Caldwell. Jordan's ex from college, the golden boy architect who'd ghosted him after graduation, only to resurface last spring with apologies and second chances. Alex remembered the late-night calls Jordan dismissed as old friend bullshit. The way he'd come home smelling of bourbon and regret. Had it been more? A relapse into that toxic first love, the one Jordan claimed had taught him what not to want. Alex's vision blurred, not with tears but rage, as he scrolled through chat logs Jordan had foolishly left synced. Flirty texts, meetings at dive bars in Chelsea, promises of helping you out, man, like old times. He slammed the laptop shut, the echo ricocheting off the exposed brick walls like a gunshot. The loft, once their sanctuary. Walls lined with Jordan's sketches of impossible bridges spanning impossible divides. Now felt like a tomb. Alex paced to the window, pressing his forehead against the cool glass, watching ferries slice through the dark water below. How long had Jordan been playing this double life? Building a fortune in shadows while Alex scraped by, pouring lattes for influencers who cooed over their adorable rainbow love story? The betrayal wasn't just the money. It was the erasure, the way Jordan had reduced their marriage to a footnote in some nostalgic bromance. Dawn crept in gray and unforgiving, painting the skyline in hues of regret. Alex hadn't slept, his mind a carousel of memories. Their first kiss under the rainbow arches of the Stonewall Inn, Jordan's hand steady on his waist during that family Thanksgiving where his mother had called them unnatural and slammed the door. They'd laughed it off later, tangled in sheets, whispering futures over cheap wine. But now, Alex grabbed his phone, dialing the one person who might make sense of the chaos. His best friend, Riley, a no-nonsense queer therapist who'd officiated their wedding with punk rock flair. "Ry, it's me," Alex rasped when she picked up on the second ring. Her voice thick with sleep from her Astoria walk-up. "Jordan." He was hiding everything. Money, an ex. God, I think he was seeing him. Silence, then Riley's sharp intake. "Shit, Alex. Come over. Now, bring coffee and tissues. We're unraveling this before it unravels you." By noon, they were hunkered in her sun-drenched living room, surrounded by dog-eared psychology tomes and half-dead succulents. Alex spilled it all, the video, the accounts, the texts that twisted like knives. Riley listened, her short-cropped hair catching the light like a halo, nodding with that empathetic steel that had pulled him through his own coming-out implosion at 18. "Betrayal's a bitch," she said finally, handing him a mug of black coffee strong enough to wake the dead. But Jordan? He wasn't cruel. Complicated, yeah. Look at the video again. "Fight for us." That's not a goodbye from a cheater. That's a baton pass. Alex replayed it on her tablet, Jordan's words landing differently now, laced with urgency rather than deceit. "The mess," Jordan had said, digging deeper into the trust docs. Riley's laptop wizardry uncovering redacted clauses revealed the truth. The money wasn't for Ethan. It was seed capital for a foundation Jordan had quietly incorporated 6 months ago. Bridges Over Barriers, a nonprofit to fund LGBTQ+ youth shelters in red state pockets of America, places where kids like teen Alex, kicked out and couch surfing from Philly to NYC, still jumped at rates that haunted national news. Jordan's meetings with Ethan? Consults. The ex, now a nonprofit lawyer in D.C., had been pro bono advisor, nothing more. The flirty texts? Jordan's clumsy deflection, testing waters for the reveal he'd planned post-crash recovery. Relief flooded Alex like a summer storm, but it carried grief's undercurrent. Why the secrecy? Why not trust him with the vision? "He thought I'd say no," Alex murmured, tracing the foundation's logo on screen. Two hands clasped over a fractured skyline. "That I'd drag us back to just us because I'm scared of his family's wrath." Riley squeezed his shoulder. "Or maybe he knew you'd say yes, but wanted to protect you from the fight ahead. His folks are contesting the will, right? Claiming undue influence, that a deviant lifestyle invalidated the bequest." The words hit like ice water. Jordan's family, conservative relics from upstate Buffalo, had shown up at the funeral with lawyers in tow, their condolences laced with probate threats. Unnatural union. His mother had hissed in the receiving line, eyes cold as Lake Erie. Now, with the trust exposed, they'd weaponize it, painting Jordan as manipulated, Alex as the gold-digging city boy who'd corrupted their golden son. That afternoon, Alex met their attorney, Marcus Hale, in a glass-walled conference room downtown, the kind where Manhattan power pulsed like a heartbeat. Marcus, a silver-haired ally with a bow tie and a penchant for dad jokes, laid it out stark. "They've got a shot if we don't counter hard. Emotional distress, coercion claims. But that foundation, it's your ace, proves Jordan's intent was pure, altruistic. Yours to steward. Alex nodded, the ring in his pocket a talisman now, not a wound. Then let's fight. For him. For the kids who need bridges he couldn't build fast enough. Weeks blurred into a whirlwind of depositions and discovery, the loft transforming into War Room Central. Riley crashed on the couch most nights, brainstorming slogans over takeout from that halal cart on 53rd. Marcus sent memos thick as novels. But the real storm brewed in quiet moments. Nights when Alex pored over Jordan's journals, unearthed from a closet trunk, entries chronicling doubts that mirrored his own. Alex deserves the world, but what if I'm not enough? This money could change that, for us, for others. God, I miss his laugh already, and he's right here. One crisp October evening, as leaves skittered like confetti across Prospect Park, the betrayal's ghost resurfaced. Not from Jordan, but from within. Ethan Caldwell arrived unannounced at the loft door, rain-slicked and sheepish, a bottle of Jordan's favorite scotch in hand. He told me to check on you, Ethan said, voice low. Eyes the same hazel that had starred in Jordan's old photos. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that effortless wasp polish Alex had always envied in secret. They talked on the fire escape, city hum below like a lullaby. Ethan confessed the full story. Jordan's midnight call last spring, post-cancer scare, another secret, benign, but it had cracked him open. He said you were his anchor, Alex. The money, it was his way of saying we're forever without the fanfare. I was just the boring lawyer friend. No sparks. Ever. Alex believed him. The raw grief in Ethan's voice echoed his own. But as they clinked glasses to absent toasts, a spark of something dangerous flickered. Not lust, but longing for the uncomplicated camaraderie Jordan had chased in youth. Was this betrayal's echo, tempting him to rewrite history? He pulled back, the ring's weight grounding him. Thanks for coming, he said, voice steady. But I've got a foundation to build. Jordan's legacy, not ours. Ethan left with a nod, the door clicking shut like closure. Alone, Alex wept then, properly, sobs racking him until dawn, purging the poison of doubt. Jordan hadn't betrayed him. He'd bet on him, fiercely, foolishly. The climax crashed in a Buffalo courtroom that December, snow blanketing the Erie County Hall like a shroud. Jordan's mother, Evelyn, took the stand, her testimony a venomous aria. My boy was brainwashed by that lifestyle, that city poison. He wasn't himself when he signed those papers, under duress from a marriage God never blessed. Her eyes, red-rimmed but unyielding, locked on Alex across the aisle, a widow's glare honed by decades of denial. Alex's turn came after lunch, the room stuffy with radiator heat and tension. Marcus had prepped him, but nothing braced for the raw strip of vulnerability. Jordan wasn't coerced. Alex began, voice amplified by the mic but intimate as a bedside whisper. He chose me every day. Through chemo scares he hid to spare me worry. Through family holidays where your slurs were the only grace. That foundation, it's his love letter to the world, to kids like the 15-year-old he met last year at a shelter. A boy who'd swallowed pills because faggots don't get happy endings. Jordan saw himself in that kid, and he built bridges so others wouldn't have to jump. Gasps rippled. Evelyn's face crumpled. Not in defeat, but fracture. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a rainbow pin on her robe, adjourned for deliberation. But the air had shifted, truth's gravity pulling the scales. That night, in a dingy motel off the thruway, Alex called Riley, the phone's glow his only light. I think we won, he said, exhaustion bleeding into hope. But God, it hurts to see her pain. She lost him too. Humanity's messy like that, Riley replied. Betrayal cuts both ways, hers in denial, yours in secrets. But you're honoring the man who loved you enough to dream big. Verdict came at dawn. Trust upheld, foundation intact. Evelyn approached Alex in the emptying hall, her rosary dangling like an olive branch. He was always drawing those damn bridges, she murmured, voice brittle. Even as a boy. I was wrong. About you. About him. No apology, but the crack was there, enough for light. Back in Brooklyn. Spring unfurled like forgiveness. Alex launched bridges over barriers from the loft. First sight, a tiny shelter in rural Pennsylvania. Beds for 10, walls painted with Jordan's sketches. He met the kids, fierce, fragile souls with stories that echoed his youth. And in their eyes, he saw redemption. Dates came sporadically, tentative coffees with kind men who laughed at his sarcasm. But none filled the void. Jordan's ghost was companion, not chain. One humid June evening, as fireflies danced over the East River, Alex stood on their old fire escape, laptop open to the truss dashboard, balance steady, lives touched, 47 and counting. He cued the video one last time, Jordan's smile a beacon. Fight for us, the recording urged. I am, Alex whispered to the stars, slipping the ring onto a chain around his neck. Every damn day, the city thrummed below, alive with possibility. A skyline of bridges, built and building, where love, in all its dramatic, suspenseful glory, endured not in perfection, but in the human ache to connect. The summer heat wave gripped New York like a fever dream, turning the loft's exposed brick into a radiator that baked Alex from the inside out. He'd taken to sleeping on the fire escape some nights, the metal slats pressing welts into his skin, but it beat the suffocating press of memories inside. Bridges Over Barriers had its first board meeting that week. A ragtag crew of volunteers crammed around the reclaimed wood table Jordan had salvaged from a Bushwick warehouse fire sale. There was Lena, a trans barista from Alex's coffee shop with a knack for grant writing. Jamal, a non-binary teen advocate who'd escaped a foster system hellbent on straightening him. And Sarah, Jordan's old firm colleague, sharp as a tack and twice as unyielding. Site One's funded, Alex announced, projecting the shelter's blueprints, Jordan's originals, annotated with Lena's eco upgrades. 10 beds, therapy space, even a rooftop garden for those quiet panic attacks at 3 a.m. Nods rippled, but Jamal's brow furrowed, his locks tied back with a rainbow bandana. Cool, but rural PA? That's Bible Belt adjacent. We talking conversion therapy landmines, or what? Jamal's voice carried the edge of lived scars, and Alex felt it like a mirror. Jordan scouted it himself last fall, Alex replied, throat tightening. Town called Milford, small, forgotten, where a kid named Tyler jumped from the water tower 2 years back. No pride flags, but the mayor's on board. Quiet ally. He didn't mention the late-night drives Jordan had taken there, solo, mapping routes in his journal. Alex would hate the quiet. But these kids, they need it. Need us. The meeting wrapped with pizza from Lombardi's, grease-slick boxes littering the floor as laughter cut through the grief's fog. Sarah lingered after, her pantsuit rumpled, pouring them both a finger of the scotch Ethan had left behind. You holding up? She asked, eyes kind but probing. Jordan be proud, but he'd also kick your ass for not eating real food. Alex chuckled, the sound rusty. He'd say the same about your chain smoking. They clinked glasses, the amber liquid burning a path to truths unspoken. Sarah had been Jordan's sounding board at the firm, privy to the offshore machinations before Alex. He worried about you, she confessed. After his dad's funeral, the will reading millions but strings attached. His old man added a codicil. Funds revert if beneficiary engages in immoral conduct. Code for queer, obviously. Jordan funneled it offshore to shield it, then built the foundation as armor. Thought if it was for charity, no one could touch it. Immoral. The word slithered like Evelyn's courtroom glare, but Sarah's delivery stripped its venom. He didn't tell me at first either, Alex admitted, staring at the skyline where the Brooklyn Bridge arced like a promise. Felt like I wasn't partner enough for the big secrets. She squeezed his hand. Or you were too precious to burden. That's love, Alex. Messy, protective. Her phone buzzed then, a text from the firm. Another pro bono lead. She left with a hug that lingered, maternal in its fierceness. Alone, the loft echoed emptier than ever. Alex wandered to Jordan's drafting table, untouched since the crash, pencils scattered like fallen soldiers. He traced a half-finished sketch. A pedestrian bridge over the Hudson, elegant curves defying gravity. For us, Jordan had scrawled in the margin, spanning doubts. Tears pricked, hot and unbidden. He'd thought the well dry, but betrayal's layers peeled back infinities of ache. The next betrayal blindsided him 2 weeks later, not from ghosts but flesh. A certified letter from Caldwell and Associates, Ethan's DC firm. Bridges over barriers, compliance review. Alex's stomach knotted as he tore it open, coffee spilling across the counter. Ethan, in his professional capacity, flagged a potential conflict. Jordan's trust docs referenced Ethan's advisory role without full disclosure, opening the door for Evelyn's appeal lawyers to cry collusion. Recommend immediate restructuring. The letter advised, tone crisp as starched collars. To protect the assets. Protect. The word mocked, dredging that fire escape night. Ethan's easy charm like a siren's call. Was this payback for rebuff? Or genuine concern twisted by ambition? Alex's hands shook as he dialed, voicemail greeting him with Ethan's polished baritone. Leave a message. I'll bridge the gap. Irony bit deep. He drove to D.C. that weekend, the Acela blurring northeast corridor burbs into a watercolor smear. Ethan met him at a DuPont Circle cafe. All exposed brick and overpriced lattes, his suit impeccable, smile tentative. Alex, save the legalese. Alex cut in, sliding the letter across the Formica top. This feels like a shakedown. You ghost Jordan for years, pop up for old times, then torpedo his dream. Ethan's face fell, hazel eyes storming. God, no. This protocol, my firm's risk-averse after a bad case. I volunteered to handle it personally, to fix it quiet. He leaned in, voice dropping. Truth? Jordan asked me to watch over you. Not like that, just, if he didn't make it through the chemo bluff, make sure you didn't fold. Alex recoiled, the cafe's chatter fading to white noise. Chemo bluff? He faked cancer. Ethan winced. Not faked scare. Biopsy wait was hell. He spun it to buy time for the foundation setup. Dramatic, yeah, but it lit a fire under him. He pulled a thumb drive from his pocket, sliding it over. His notes. Full advisory logs. No funny business, I swear. The drive held terabytes of transparency. Emails timestamped to the minute, budgets dissected, even Ethan's rejected invoice. Pro bono forever. For the kid who broke my heart by choosing better. Alex's anger deflated like a punctured tire, leaving exhaustion. Why the secrecy with me? He asked, voice small. Because you were his heart, Alex. He said telling you meant risking the dream if his family struck first. Feared you'd shoulder it alone, burn out. Ethan's hand brushed his, accidental, electric, and Alex pulled away, not from revulsion but the treacherous pull of connection. Betrayal, it seemed, wore many faces. Jordan's well-intentioned walls, Ethan's unintended meddling, his own fear of moving forward. They restructured that afternoon in Ethan's corner office, overlooking the Potomac's lazy gleam. By dusk, the foundation was ironclad. Ethan signing off as consultant emeritus with a flourish. You're doing good work, he said at the train station, rain pattering on the awning like hesitant applause. Jordan picked right. Alex boarded with the drive clutched like a talisman. The ride north a meditation on trust's fragile architecture. Back in the loft, he uploaded the files, the desktop pinging with integrations, Shelter 2 greenlit, this one in Ohio's Rust Belt hollows. But sleep evaded, ghosts whispering. What if you'd known sooner? What if? Riley crashed the next morning, bearing bagels and brutal honesty. Ethan's a complication, not a crisis, she declared, slathering cream cheese with surgical precision. Hot lawyer ex-friend? Classic rom-com trope. But you're not in a script, you're building empires. Her eyes sparkled mischief. Unless you want to be, date him, test the waters. Jordan'd want you happy, not martyred. The suggestion hung, tantalizing and terrifying. Alex laughed it off, but seeds took root. That week, as he toured the Milford site, framing up under a relentless sun, volunteers hammering hope into beams, he caught himself texting Ethan updates, innocuous at first, garden beds planted. Kids named one Jordan's Crossing. Replies came swift, laced with dry wit. Tell him to add a swing. Architectures for living, not just looking. Conflict simmered low until Evelyn's next volley. A personal email, forwarded through Marcus. I've reconsidered, she wrote, script shaky as her convictions. Donate my share, his brothers too, to your project. For Tyler. He looked like my boy. No warmth, but a thaw, humanity cracking through bigotry's ice. Alex forwarded it to the board, tears blurring the screen. Betrayal's arc bent toward grace. Jordan's bridges spanned even the unlikeliest chasms. Autumn's palette bled into the city. Ginkgo leaves carpeting the sidewalks in gold, as if the streets themselves mourned. Alex threw himself into the grind. Fundraisers at rooftop bars where donors sipped craft cocktails and pledged checks with performative allyship. Site visits that left his boots caked in Midwest mud. Bridges over barriers swelled. 3 shelters now, each a defiant thumb at statistics that screamed queer youth homelessness at 40% in America's heartland. But success's shine couldn't gild the hollows. Nights alone, Alex traced the chain around his neck, Jordan's ring cool against his skin like a pulse from beyond. Ethan's texts evolved from professional pings to something softer. Invitations veiled as consults. DC happy hour? Got a grant guru you'd love. Alex demurred at first, guilt a gatekeeper, but Riley's nagging, life's not a vigil, babe, wore him down. The train ride south felt like crossing a threshold, the Hudson giving way to Potomac mists. They met at a queer dive in Logan Circle. Vinyl booths sticky with history, drag queens lip-syncing Madonna under disco lights. Ethan slid in beside him, casual in Henley and jeans, his laugh easy as he ordered rounds of something bourbon-forward. To absent friends, he toasted, clinking Alex's glass. Conversation flowed like the drinks, architecture war stories, Ethan's failed novel about a bridge-building ghost, Alex's tales of Milford kids painting murals of impossible futures. You're glowing out there, Ethan said later, as they stumbled into the cool night, cherry blossoms long gone but their memory perfuming the air. Jordan be jealous of the work, not you. His hand grazed Alex's arm, lingering. The touch sparked, not the wild inferno of youth's hookups, but a steady warmth, like heathfire after storm. Alex pulled back gently, the ring's weight a reminder. It's too soon. Or maybe not soon enough. Honesty spilled then, unbidden. The crashes blur, therapy sessions where Riley unpacked betrayal's baggage. Not just Jordan's secrets, but Alex's own. The closet he'd burst from at 16, parents who'd chosen church over son. Ethan listened, not with pity but parody, sharing his own fracture. Coming out in 90s prep school, a suicide attempt at 20 that Jordan had pulled him from, literally, on a dorm floor slick with regret. That night with the scotch, Alex confessed, breath fogging the street lamp's glow. I thought maybe you were the ghost I needed, but you're not. You're real. And that's scarier. Ethan's smile was bittersweet. Scary's where the good stories live. No pressure. Just don't build walls where bridges could be. The kiss, when it came weeks later, at a foundation gala in a Soho loft, strings of Edison bulbs casting halos. Tasted like possibility, tentative and tear-salted. Ethan, tuxedoed and nervous, had cornered him by the charcuterie spread. Dance with me? He'd asked, echoing Jordan's pride rally move. Alex had nodded, their sway amid swirling gowns and bow ties a quiet revolution. Lips met soft, exploratory, no rush of conquest but communion. A betrayal of solitude, redeemed in vulnerability. But romance's bloom carried thorns. Evelyn's thaw reversed with Winter's bite, a leaked tabloid snippet, Queer Heirs Fortune Fund's agenda, fueled her brother's petition to revoke the donation, claiming undue influence anew. Court date loomed in January. Buffalo's chill a metaphor for the frost creeping back. Marcus prepped warily. She's flip-flopping. Get her on record, or we lose momentum. Alex drove north alone this time, the thruway a ribbon of slush under sodium lights. Evelyn met him at a Tim Hortons off the interstate, her coat threadbare, face etched deeper than Autumn's last visit. "I meant it," she said over cooling coffee, voice a rasp. "The money. But Robert, my other son, he's poison. Says you're turning Jordan's memory into a circus." Alex leaned forward, the diner's hum fading. "It was never a circus, Evelyn. It was survival. Like when Jordan called me from here, Thanksgiving 19, after you locked him out. I drove 6 hours to pick him up, held him while he sobbed about losing family. That foundation, it's for the Jordans you couldn't see." Her eyes welled, rosary clicking like Morse code. "I prayed for a sign. Then Tyler's mom called. Says the shelter saved her boy. You're doing." She slid a check across the table. Robert's revoked share, endorsed over. "Take it. For the bridges." Tears mirrored. A hug followed, awkward but authentic. Humanity's clumsy bridge over bigotry's gorge. Alex left lighter, the check a talisman against the storm. Climax brewed not in court but catastrophe. A Milford blizzard trapped volunteers, stranding a new kid, 17, bruised from a reparative camp escape. Alex mobilized, chartering a van through whiteout, arriving at dawn to a shelter half-built, winds howling like banshees. There, amid hammering and hot cocoa, Ethan appeared. Unbidden, boots muddy from the trek. "Heard on the news. Figured you needed backup." They worked side by side, nailing beams. The kid, name Kai, watching wide-eyed as two men in love, or whatever this was, built more than walls. "You guys like heroes?" Kai mumbled, blanket clutched. "Nah," Alex said, winking. "Just guys who know falling's part of flying." Ethan's glance held promise. The storm outside paling against the one they'd weathered within. Court convened post-thaw, Evelyn's testimony a quiet thunder. "My son chose love. Let him rest in it." Robert's bluster crumbled. Judgment swift, foundation fortified. Alex walked out into spring's tentative sun, Ethan waiting curbside with coffees. "We did it," Alex said, handing over the ruling. "We," Ethan teased, but his kiss said yes, deep, declarative, a vow etched in cherry-scented air. Back in Brooklyn, the loft brimmed. Board expansions, Kai's mural unveiling, Riley's toast at a housewarming-turned-celebration. "To betrayals that birth better stories," she quipped, arm around her new girlfriend. Alex raised his glass, Jordan's ring now a pendant shared with Ethan, a dual talisman. Love, he'd learned, wasn't singular. It layered, like city strata, each scar a stronger span. The skyline beckoned, bridges aglow, whispering, "Keep building." Summer's encore scorched the asphalt into mirages. But the loft's AC hummed a counterpoint, cooling sweat-slick skin as Alex and Ethan christened the space anew. Not with grand gestures, no rose petals or violins, but quiet intimacies. Ethan's law books stacked beside Jordan's sketches, their laughter echoing off beams as they debated paint colors for Shelter 4, a Chicago high-rise conversion. "Teal," Ethan insisted, sprawled on the rug, tie loosened, calming, like your eyes post-argument. "Blue's too safe," Alex countered, tossing a pillow. "Go bold, sunset orange. For the kids who think dawn's a myth." Their debates dissolved into kisses, lazy and learned. Ethan's hands mapping scars Alex had forgotten he carried. It wasn't replacement. It was renovation. Jordan's blueprint honored, expanded. Yet conflict lingered, subtle as fault lines. Ethan's firm pressured for partnership track. DC's pull a siren song against Brooklyn's chaos. "It's not leaving you," he soothed one night, post-dinner in their tiny kitchen. Pasta sauce staining counters like abstract art. "Just stability. For us, long-term." The word thrilled and terrified, evoking Jordan's video plea, "Fight for us." But stability? Alex's life was a scaffold of grants and crises. No corner office in sight. Riley clocked it at their weekly park run, pounding pavement past dog walkers and street fiddlers. "You're scared he'll clip your wings," she panted, ponytail swinging. "Or that choosing him means erasing Jordan." Newsflash: love's additive, not zero-sum. Her words fermented, bubbling up at the Foundation's annual gala. A glittering affair at the Whitney, donors in black tie mingling with shelter alums sharing TED-style vignettes. Kai, now 18 and interning, took the mic. This place didn't fix me. It showed me I'm not broken. That's the real bridge. Applause thundered. Alex, from the wings, swelled with pride laced in loss. Jordan should have seen this, his vision incarnate. Ethan cornered him post-speech, champagne flutes in hand, view of the high line snaking below like a vein. Proud of you, he murmured, thumb tracing Alex's jaw. But that look, storm clouds. Talk. Alex exhaled, city lights fracturing in his eyes. Your move to partner is huge, but DC, we'd be weekends and FaceTime. I barely survived Jordan's secrets. I can't do distances slow bleed. Ethan's face shadowed, not anger but ache. I turned it down. Today. Firm wasn't thrilled. Said I'm distracted by personal entanglements. He air-quoted with a wry smile. Code for gay and gone rogue. But you, this, he gestured to the room. Alive with rainbow pins and hope. It's the bridge I want to cross. With you. Relief crashed, but so did doubt's undertow. And if the next storm hits? My family's ghosts, your career. Then we build higher. Ethan cut in fierce. Like Jordan taught you. No secrets this time. Full blueprints. They sealed it there. Against the gallery wall amid Rothko abstracts. Kiss deepening to promise. But betrayal's final twist waited in the mail. A manila envelope from Buffalo, postmarked Evelyn. Inside, not legal ire but letters, Jordan's from college, bundled with hers. Burn them if you want. Her note read. Or read. He wrote home even after. Loved us, despite. Alex read by fire escaped on. Pages yellowed. Jordan's script looping like rivers. Mom, I met someone, Ethan, but it's different. Real. Pray for me? Later ones, post-breakup. Alex, is it? The one. Wish you'd see. Evelyn's replies, sparse but softening. Be safe, son. Love always. The stack ended with a PS from her. I see now. Thank you for the bridges. Tears-soaked ink. Alex pocketed one, mailing the rest back with a photo. Kai's mural, Ethan mid-laugh. Evelyn's reply came swift. Beautiful. Visit soon. Climax crested not in drama but denouement's quiet roar. Shelter 5 broke ground in Jordan's hometown. Buffalo burbs yielding to a community center, therapy suites, art studios, even a chapel non-denominational as hope. Evelyn cut the ribbon, her hand trembling in Alex's. Robert absent but unmissed. For my boy, she whispered, crowd hushed. Kai emceed, voice steady. Jordan Harper, architect of tomorrows. Post-ceremony, Alex and Ethan walked the site, hard hats crooked, sunset gilding girders. Humanistic ending? Ethan teased, echoing Alex's old journals. Or just beginning? Both? Alex replied, leaning into him, ring chain glinting. Betrayals taught us. Love's not plotless. It's the messy build, climax in every joist. Years folded like blueprints. Shelters to a network, Ethan consulting remote, Alex authoring a memoir. Spanning shadows. A love in lines that hit NYT lists, proceeds to the cause. They adopted Kai at 20, his room a riot of sketches. Weddings came, Riley's, Lena's, each a vow renewed. One anniversary, Jordan's and theirs, blended. Alex cued the video on the loft's new projector. Ethan beside. Kai sprawled on the rug. Jordan's face beamed. Fight for us. They did. Every day. In a city of endless spans. The skyline whispered back. And they spanned.